Hi there, I'm Owen. We're here at DJ Tech Direct here in Birmingham. Just going to give you a quick run through today, the Traktor Kontrol F1 and the X1, and the fact that you can actually DJ using these two pieces of kit, in fact even just the X1 on its own, without actually needing to make use of external decks of any sort, so no CDJs, no turntables. You can get really creative and DJ in a way never before possible using Traktor. Now, a lot of people, when they first think of Traktor, is, oh, it's just a way of you playing music on your computer using CDJs or turntables. That's not the case. I mean, you can do that obviously as well, but you can use the X1 and the F1 to help you further that and work the music even more, or you can actually use them standalone. So if you don't own any CDJs or any turntables at home, you can actually fully get into the workflow of Traktor, perform full live sets without the need for any extra equipment. Right, so I'll give you a quick run through what we're working with here. So we've got Traktor 2.6.3, which is the latest version running on here. I'm running this at the moment straight into a DJM 900 Nexus. You can obviously use Traktor, you can buy it as Traktor Scratch Pro, where it will come with the A6 card or the A10 interface. Now with that, obviously it allows you to use turntables to connect and then pipe through to your mixer. Because I'm using the X1 and the F1, with the DJM 900, I can actually USB straight out of the laptop into the top of the mixer, and that will actually pipe through 4 channels of audio into each channel of the mixer. So ideal for what I'm going to show you here. Okay, so here we have the Traktor Kontrol X1 Mark II. For those of you who've seen the X1 before, or maybe only the original one, a few improvements to this now. So the button and the browser layout is a lot better and a lot cleaner, I think. Most noticeable difference is going to be this touch strip here, which will allow you to be able to do pitch bend and scrub on both decks, so deck A and deck B, or if you decide to use deck C and D with the X1 as well, you can do that. You can actually assign this touch strip as well to command anything that is attached to any of these rotaries and buttons on here. So you can actually, if you wanted to use effect knob 1, if I hold the middle button there, touch strip should I say, and then move one of the knobs there, that will now be fully assigned to there until I move out of it and assign it to something else. So that, I think, is a really good upgrade on the new X1. Along with that as well, a few other little minor things which will make quite a difference is these buttons down the bottom here now light up and change colour according to what you've got assigned to them, in a similar way to the F1. So you can actually, if you do not have the F1, or you just want to get one of the two controllers and you're struggling to decide between the two, this will do some, but in a very limited capacity, of the F1 functionality. Great for if you don't have an F1 available, but obviously doesn't go into quite as much depth as what you can do with the F1. So yeah, that's the X1. The F1, again, the ultimate controller for if you want to use the remix decks within Traktor Pro. I've got in Traktor at the moment 2 track decks set up and 2 remix decks, so I can actually skip between the bottom 2. So I've got deck D and deck C. So I've actually got 2 remix sets loaded up at the moment, which I'll show you in a second. I can actually jump between each one, so it's the equivalent of having 2 F1s basically. Okay, I have to jump between one and another. There's nothing to stop you from having 2 F1s, but for the purpose of today, I'm just going to show you with the one. I'll give you a very quick run through of what the other functionality of this is, but I really want to try and just give you a very quick overview of how you can use it all together. Right, what I'm going to do is give you a quick run through the remix deck side and just a basic overview of how that works, and also one thing which I think some people don't necessarily realise is that you can actually grab loops on the fly during your set from tracks that are playing in the decks above. So I think that's something which might be interesting for a few people. So I'll give you a very quick run through. So basically what I've done at the moment, I've set up well, I've pulled in 2 existing templates, which is just a few loops loaded across the F1, just that I can kind of jam over the top of anything that's playing in the background, as it were, really. So I've got a track loaded up on deck 1, So if I just play that. So at the moment, as you'll see, there's just a track playing on its own in the in the top track deck. Now, what I can do with this, I mean, this has been making use of the F1, but I can set a loop on here. So that will continually play for as long as I leave it there. So what I can actually do is I can sync each of the F1 decks to the track that's playing. So if I pop on over here, make sure that's synced as well. Don't know how well you can hear that on here, but I've actually got another deck going underneath now as well. So what this is allowing me to do is basically add other elements to that existing loop. So what I can do here now is jump over to my other deck and do the same on there as well. Now you'll see I've got this loop going in the track deck above. What I can actually do with that is I can load that loop into the remix decks below. So you'll notice on the F1 I have a capture button. Now if I press this capture button, it will now give me a number in there. Now that's the number of beats that I'm actually going to be sampling into the remix deck below. So I don't want a long loop, I'm just going to set it as a 4-beat loop. And then all I need to do is assign a pad here where I want to save that loop. So I'm going to save it on that bottom pad. You'll see now on here, it's actually got the name of the track from above, and the same colour will match up from here to there as well. So I can change those and edit those if I wanted to, change the colour, rename it even if I wanted to, but I'd have to do that on the laptop obviously. When you're working on the fly, you'll probably find that you'll keep overdubbing and laying other stuff over there. It's not necessarily going to stay there for the duration of your set, but it just allows you to bring it back in and out as you may want to throughout. So if I take out the original track, everything that's playing at the moment now is coming from the F1. So if I want to bring that loop back in, you'll notice I pressed that but it's not playing at the moment. That's because I don't know if you can see, but on the mixer here I've got the one F1 coming out of the one output, the other one will be coming out of the other. So what I'm going to show you quickly here, firstly I've set up two remix sets as it were. So using two virtual F1s, obviously I've got the one physical one here. I can skip, as I say before, between deck D and deck C. So starting on deck D, I've got a couple of kick loops on here, some top loops as well, and a few other effects on the side. I've still got plenty of room here because what I'm going to show you as well is that I can actually take loops from tracks playing above and incorporate them in there as well. I'll go through in more detail in the next video how to then use the effects from the X1 with the F1. Show you very quickly today, but I'll go in it more detail next time. So starting off with this, as I say, I've got a kick loop going there. Now this will actually allow you to quantize to different denominations. I've got this one set up on 4 beats, so if I press that too early, it doesn't come in until the next time round. Now advantages I've got with the F1 as well is obviously I can actually mix individually each channel, each instrument, or each loop should I say. You can also mute things out as well using the buttons at the bottom. So it's very good to get grooves going and actually make things more interesting. A lot more so than just cutting the bass out on a track deck basically. Just allows you to really kind of work your music a lot more than you ever could before. Going over to the other deck, So on deck C, I've got another virtual deck here, so you'll see on the other half of the screen, there's some more bits in there. Now I press that, you won't hear that at the moment, that's because I've got the F1, that deck side going through a separate channel on the mixer, so if I turn up the fader here, you hear the bass now that I've got set up on that one. So jump back again to deck D. If I want to change, add some more hats, can do that there. Another bass part I've just added there as well. Again, take the kick out. So already you can hear there's a bit of a groove going, but I'm not having to rely on someone else's arrangement. I can do the arrangement entirely live myself, which I think is an incredible thing to be able to do. Something that has never really been offered to us in this way before. So I think it's just such a great thing to be able to do now. What I'm going to do here, sorry about this, I'm just looking for a different version of the track that I've loaded above, because I think this will again be quite an eye-opener for some people who've maybe not used the F1 or used the remix decks necessarily. I mean, we all know we can loop in Traktor. What I'm going to do here is actually use the capture function of the F1. So if I sync this deck up here, so yeah, we all know that sample, the percolator. What I'm going to do is actually use this capture function to record a loop of that onto here. So once I've pressed that and I've recorded that there, I can take that track out. So that track is no longer actually playing. But what I can do now is bring this into my remix set. But I tell you what I'm going to do, I'm going to move it onto another pad so I can still have my highs going under the bottom. Now at the top of the F1 as well, you've also got filter control, so what I can do is filter out any figures. So I can filter things up, so I can take the bass out of the kick. Again, drop out the other instruments if I wanted to. So now we've just got the kick and the bass going. But yeah, what I've actually got loaded up here now is I can bring that percolator sample in, filtered down. Now I've got all these little extra elements I can start to introduce. So I've got pads again loaded up on this. I'm using this one mainly for the musical elements, the other one for the drums. So I think we can safely say this sounds nothing like the original. It's just a way of being able to create and manipulate things live. I mean, with that percolator sample in there, I mean, I can go and find another track now if I wanted. In fact, let's do that. Let's go back. So we'll do it on this step so it goes in with the drums. So, where can I put this? we've also got another loop introduced underneath the bottom there. Now again, I've done that just by loading another track onto here, as I did with the first track, the percolator one. I can keep doing that as many times as I want. I can take little vocal snippets. Things don't have to be done as loops either, I can do them as individual hits. So if I just wanted to take a little vocal shot or something from a track, I can do that, and then I can tap them in. Again, each pad doesn't have to be quantized, it can be done on any increment that I want it to be. So that's a very, very quick overview. Not really touched much on the X1, I'll do that in the next video. But yeah, hopefully that's given you a little bit more of an insight into what you can do with the F1. If you've got any questions, please feel free to leave them in the comments. I've been Owen here at djtechdirect.com in Birmingham. Thanks for watching.